This is Aussie Mac Zone. We'll cover everything Apple, including Macs, iPhones, iPads, and more. All this from an Aussie perspective. Sit back, relax, and insert yourself into the zone. The Aussie Mac Zone.
Hi everybody, welcome to show 243, Aussie Mac Zone this week. And we have Garth, our Queensland compatriot. How are you, sir?
G'day, Michael. G'day, Zarn. Listeners, how's it going? It's been a little while, but I'm here today.
Hey,
We're
awesome. Good to see you, Garth.
Zarn, are you okay, buddy?
I am fantastic, Michael. Thanks for asking. How are you, mate?
Good. Bit
Excellent.
brisk, but other than that, yeah, it's
It
good.
is a bit cold.
I'm a bit wrapped up here with my scarf, but anyway.
I know I don't have my button-up shirt on today. I've just got my cardi on because it's nice and warm.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Your cardi. Oh, goodness me. You're old enough to wear a cardi, are you?
Garth, it's not that I'm old enough. I'm cool enough.
All right. Well played, sir.
So this week's sponsors, athwebhosting.com.au and aussietechradio.com. And our Aussie Apple ramblings this week start with carpool karaoke. Now, possibly the best carpool karaoke ever, as far as I'm concerned, Paul McCartney in Liverpool.
I agree.
From Penny Lane to the house he lived in to a pub the Beatles played in getting famous, and he still draws a crowd. I even rated a mention. It even rated a mention on Weekend Today shows.
So did you, Michael, but for a whole other reason.
Yes, that's right. The stalker. But yeah, I made the family sit down and watch it all last night while we were all having dinner together.
We did. It was great.
Goes for about 20 odd minutes.
Yep.
And
I'll have to check that out.
Certainly worth a watch.
It really is. Yeah, Garth, you really should see it.
Yeah.
They do like some great songs in the car, playing around. They go in different spots. I won't spoil it for you. You should just watch it. But
Absolutely.
I think it's the best car karaoke, carpool karaoke I've ever seen. Paul McCartney is just a legend in his own right, anyway, and everyone loves the Beatles. So it was
Absolutely.
great.
Yeah, and like he put crap on himself and everything. It didn't matter. Like it was so good. Yeah.
Oh, excellent.
And there's a link to the YouTube link, or if you want to watch it on Apple Music, of course you can do that.
So what? It's on YouTube as well?
Yeah.
Yeah, YouTube.
Full thing?
Yeah. All of the carpool karaoke.
They always used to be. Yeah, I thought they must have.
There's also a show called Carpool Karaoke that I think is on YouTube as well. I don't know if it is or not, where they get other people driving, and it's sort of a thing where musicians and that take turn. But the one with James Corden is it's all on there, and you can find it quite easily.
Now, speaking of YouTube, their new music streaming service is now available in Australia for $12 a month.
Oh.
So you can get the new YouTube music app for Android or for iOS, or you can go and try it on the web, and there's links in the show notes for that. So
I cannot keep up with YouTube and Google in general.
Hang on while I get connected to Wi-Fi.
Oh,
we are.
Bloody, that is.
What was that?
I said Google.
Oh.
There's a Google in here. And she can't get connected to the Wi-Fi because I unplugged it.
Welcome home, Google.
Hey, Google, go to sleep.
Hang on while I get connected to Wi-Fi.
Can't do anything unless she's connected.
The mic is muted.
Yeah,
I have that trouble with a lot of girls that won't work for me unless they're plugged in and turned on.
Hello, Google.
Early. I have no idea where I was going anymore. Now, you go away for a couple of weeks and look what you come back to. Debauchery everywhere. No. YouTube, Google. Yeah, the mic's muted now, so shut up. Google. And their branding.
I know.
So I had I've got YouTube Red subscription from
I have too.
A while ago.
Yep.
And the family version of that, which is only $17 or so, which you have to do through them directly. You can't do it through iOS.
Mm-hmm.
And that way, the kids don't have to be watching YouTube ads because they're going to watch YouTube anyway. And you get the Google Music with that. So how is this now different? With Google Music, if you go out and get the subscription for $12, do you get the YouTube Premium as well? Or how does it all fit together? Because they keep changing it every 10 minutes.
They do. And I have no idea. I think you've got to do if you're on YouTube Premium, you get the music included.
Yeah. But it's about that same price. If you're getting it as an individual, it's $11.95 anyway. I'm pretty sure.
I don't know, to be honest. Because
either way, I think it is a pretty good deal.
Yeah.
YouTube Premium, as it is now, is totally worth that. I think if you watch much YouTube at all.
I do. I watch a lot of YouTube.
Yeah.
I really like it. I watch a lot of cooking shows, like the international cooking shows. And I watch a lot. They're all so the ones I watch, they're not cooking, but they go and show you great spots for street food in like Singapore and China and Thailand and right across Asia really. And they're great. I also watch was it Rhett and Link. They're Good Mythical Morning, and they've also got a show. It's also a podcast, but they also do YouTube channels, and they do stuff like Will It Pancake, and it's funny. It's just comedy. It's great. It's a great laugh. Yeah. And there's a new one on there called Cobra Kai.
That you do need to have YouTube Premium for that one.
You do need to have YouTube Premium for. Cobra Kai, if you were a kid in the 80s, which I was, you gentlemen were close, but just more on the adult side.
I was a kid in the 80s. Oldish kid. But...
so Cobra Kai is the name of the dojo that Karate Kid goes to join, but doesn't get to join because the bully kid from his school's there. And so it's about the Karate Kid and the guy that he fights from Cobra Kai. It's about those two guys. And so it's basically a TV series now based on the Karate Kid story. And they're older, obviously, but they're still around and they still hate each other. From what I can gather, I haven't watched an episode yet, but from the trailers, that's what it looks like.
Oh, okay. I started watching the first one and I haven't. Yeah. It's just, you have to dig for it a bit and I just haven't got back to it.
Yeah,
but it did look pretty good.
Yeah.
The YouTube, I know we're not being an ad here for YouTube, but there's just, doesn't matter what it is. If you want to watch something, any topic, you want to learn how to do anything. I listen to a lot of the sort of audio production type stuff that I like to listen to, or it doesn't matter. If you want to, I might buy this thing. I wonder how it's going to be, what it's like to use that particular product, and just go and have a look. And I'll show you. Yep. It's incredible.
Yeah, well, it's exactly the same. Like we use it as well. Even Michael and I have used it when we're working on the cars, and we're like, oh, I haven't done that one before. So you jump onto YouTube, and there's always someone there that's worked on that car before and had that same problem. And so they show you how to get a part off the car. And you're like, oh, well, I wouldn't have thought of that. Excellent. There you go. And so instead of taking us 3 hours to try and figure it out, we watch a 9-minute video and then get everything done. And it still takes us 3 hours. But that's okay.
Okay. Who needs a mechanic anymore?
We took 3 instead of 6.
That's right.
Yeah, that's right.
So,
yeah. So just a reminder this week, we are brought to you by athwebhosting.com.au. So affordable competitive plans, 99.95% uptime, domain registration, free setup, auto setup, instant activation, accepting PayPal as well as other cards with 250 scripts installed with one click, WordPress, Joomla, and many, many, many more. They use the cPanel industry standard user-friendly feature-rich control panel, and all from $5.95 per month when paid annually. Now, here we go. We've had the good news. Now we're going to start with some bad news. Sydney Morning Herald reports Apple fined $9 million for misleading some Australian customers.
Oh, wow.
Apple has been fined $9 million by the federal court for telling some Australian iPad and iPhone owners they could not have their devices fixed as they'd been previously repaired by a third party. The court action was started by the ACCC after it received complaints about Error 53, which disabled some Apple devices after an operating system update was downloaded. customers said they were being refused a remedy of any kind by Apple on the basis that their device had unauthorized repairs. And those repairs could be as minor as just having a cracked screen replaced on an iPhone or iPad, which all of us need to do from time to time, the ACCC Commissioner Sarah Court said. So these consumers were being told, because you've had this third-party repair, you are not entitled to any remedy. Ms. Court said that is not the case under Australian consumer law. So I'm waiting. I've got a comment to chuck at the end, but I'm happy to listen to everybody else's opinions.
All right, Garth.
Oh, what, I go first? First cab off the rank on this one, do I? I feel like I've been set up here. No,
You don't have to.
no. A remedy of any kind is probably what it comes down to, right?
Yeah.
So, had they said we won't fix it under warranty, then that would be fine. But in my head, anyway. But to say we won't work on it at all, when it is maybe still under warranty, even, or still a supported device. I don't know. Come on, Michael. Tell us. Well, Zarn, what do you reckon?
Zarn? Yeah.
Look, I understand where they're coming from, because, they do want you to have your devices fixed by them. But sometimes it's cheaper to get it fixed by someone else. And I know third-party stuff doesn't always work, and you have a lot of problems and that. But some people honestly can't afford it, even though Mac is pretty cheap with the repairs and things like that. I would preferably go to Mac and get everything repaired by them. But
so
I do understand, but at the same time, they really shouldn't have said, "Look, we're not going to do it now that you've used someone else." It sounds like a bit like an upset girlfriend to me. You know what I mean?
As it turns out, they can't do that here in Australia.
Yeah,
right?
well, that's right.
This is what we've got to.
Yeah.
But you can understand the point where, okay, maybe someone else has been in it, so we don't know. Have you damaged the battery? Have you done this? Is the phone going to explode on me?
Yeah.
That could be an argument they may make, but that's just, I think it's a little spurious, where it's something as simple as the glass, or realistically, I could take my device in and say, well, I haven't, I don't know what you mean. I haven't had it. Obviously not with Era 53, because I bought my device secondhand or whatever.
Yeah, that's right. You could, they can't refuse your sale if you've bought a secondhand device,
which is only 18 months old, still a supported device.
Yeah.
Yes.
So,
Michael.
So, well, firstly, one point in America, they've got away with it somehow, but actually, there was a 1975 law. I was listening. I think it was on Twitter that they talked about it. There is actually a 1975 law that says they can't be refused service either. The same as the Australian law says you can't serve it, even though somehow Apple got away with it. So here's my little rant, right?
Yeah.
So in Apple's defense, what happens when I, as an authorized tech, because I'm allowed to repair it, open the phone and damage it because it was glued together instead of screwed together, or it was, whoever put it together was having a hassle, so they've put some glue or something. So what happens when I damage it if I pull it apart? Or,
you say, I'll tell you what happens in that situation. You say, this was glued together by the last person who repaired it, which has caused the damage, and it's not my problem.
Or what about if it catches fire and the workshop gets damaged?
What if it does that anyway?
Yeah.
It's a good point, Garth.
It's like the phones.
You've got insurance, right?
The phones that actually caught fire on aeroplanes in Australia had been repaired by third-party people, and like, at least they put screws in under the battery and then screw it all back together.
Oh, what a dipstick!
And then so there are some really crap repairers out there.
So unauthorized. So yeah, how does it all work then for an unauthorized versus an authorized repairer? Is that what it comes down to?
Yes. Yeah, and an authorized repairer can get Apple parts, where an unauthorized repairer doesn't get Apple parts. They don't get any training. They don't have the tools to take it apart. For when you take phones apart now, you get actually like screwdrivers with torque, so they only do up to a certain point. So they've got this torque setting on the screwdriver. Each screwdriver's got a different torque setting that they don't have. I can guarantee 99.9% of them don't have any of those special tools.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like I said, I had my son's 5S screen replaced once by some third-party people because it was, a third the price in this particular case. And the thumb reader, the thumb sensor never worked because it never had one in the screen that they replaced it with.
Yeah.
And I've got that iPhone 4 that had the cheaper screen put in that it just died. Like we were using the phone, and the screen just decided that it didn't want to work anymore.
Yeah.
Just died, like for no reason at all. The phone wasn't wet. The phone didn't. There was no damage to the screen. The phone's perfect in every single way, except for that it was a third-party screen. It just decided that it wasn't going to work anymore. So that's why. Yeah.
Maybe Apple should be forced to have third-party repairers. Maybe.
I agree with that.
But how can they have? What even is that then?
So people like us that can repair phones, like that we know what we're doing and things like that.
But you can be an Apple certified repairer. iPhone tech.
Yeah.
But there are third-party Mac repairers out there that are certified repairers. So why can't some of the people in Westfield shopping centres be set up as third-party repairers?
Well, why can't they? Can they if they wanted to be and were prepared to go through the training?
I'd happily do that. Well, the phones are easy to fix.
So
what does it take? Like, let's say Zarn's an enterprising young chap and wants to open up a central mall. Let's fix your iPhone as cheap as possible, but I want to do it the proper way. I want to go through the training. I want to get accredited. What's the process?
You'd have to firstly apply to Apple to become a service center, and then make sure your technician or technicians became certified iPhone repairers and iPad repairers. And
is that as simple as paying the appropriate fee and doing the appropriate training courses and
be online training and paying the appropriate fees.
Yeah, but you can't order parts until you're an actually authorized repair center.
Yeah. And is that, as I said though, that there's no restriction other than you pay these fees to do the training and so forth. Is that?
No, it's still up to Apple to decide whether they want to put a quote repair center in that area.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Wow. Yeah, it's still not an easy situation.
Yeah. Okay. So
otherwise there'd be lots of them, I promise you.
Yeah, there would be. That's true. Like especially like now too, because Penrith here, like we're in Penrith, like we have an Apple Centre, and a Mac, what is it, Mac Store?
Apple Store,
whatever you want to call them, like those stupid big windowed things with the geniuses in it.
Yep. Who are nice guys, and I don't have an issue with.
Yeah, I don't have an issue with them either, except for their attitude and everything else about them. But I'm joking. With something so close, then it'll be taking business away from them directly. Like, so if you're a third party and you're taking away business, and it means their productivity and their sales start to fall because you're a third party. I think
nah.
Would that matter?
Because it's not going to fall by that much.
Yeah, I suppose. But what if they?
People still choose. Still choose. I know from experience.
I know you do. Look, I know you know what you're talking about. Like you are a Mac repairer
in Penrith.
Yes, I know. You had your own store. I know.
Yeah. and it's, it was a repair centre before they opened.
It was a repair centre before they opened.
People will still choose to go to Apple than go to a certified repairer.
Yeah.
Right? The day they opened, I lost 50% of my business. That was the day they opened. It's all measurable. So,
yeah,
it is a challenge.
It's a tricky one.
But I just like people have had devices break more, and people have had devices catch fire because of third-party repairs. So that is a challenge. So I don't fully agree with it, but
but there are reasons.
Yeah. Now, here's another bad story from Australia. The ABC Australia is reporting medical appointment booking app Health Engine sharing clients' personal information with lawyers. So Australia's biggest online doctor's appointment booking service, Health Engine, has funneled hundreds of users' private medical information to law firms seeking clients for personal injury claims. So here's a couple of key points. Health Engine has boasted to advertisers it can tailor advertising to patients' symptoms. The Australian startup says it only shares information with users' consent, but if a patient wants to use the app, there is no opportunity to opt out of the fine print about giving information to third parties. The Perth-based startup, which is part owned by Telstra and Seven West Media, and boasts 1.5 million monthly and 15 million annual users, has also been touting access to patients' medical conditions and symptoms for targeted advertising campaign. The ABC has obtained secret documents from plaintiff law giant Slater and Gordon that revealed Health Engine was passing on a daily list of prospective clients to the firm based on their personal medical information as part of a referral partnership pilot. Last year, Health Engine asked users to include details of their symptoms and medical conditions, including whether they have suffered a workplace injury or been in a traffic accident, as part of the process of booking appointments with GPs, dentists, physiotherapists, optometrists, and other medical practitioners. The documents reveal Health Engine passed on details of an average of 200 clients a month to Slater and Gordon between March and August last year.
Jesus Christ.
Bastards.
So there you go.
Far out. So that's daunting.
Everyone's gone quiet.
Thanks for that, Michael. Great.
Yeah.
Sucks, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's really crazy. Like I've never used this service, but I now never will either. The same way as I never will eat rockmelon again.
What?
I'm just paranoid. But it's fine. Everyone is out to get me. It's fine. So what do you think about that, Garth?
What's to say? Realistically, it's just like
it's pretty crazy.
It sucks. It sucks.
Yeah. Unbelievable.
We've had a few listeners say hi tonight.
Good.
Lazy Gunner says hey.
Hey, Lazy Gunner.
And, Lazy Gunner.
It's the best kind to be. Get yourself in less trouble that way.
That's it. Michelle says hi, and she says hi to me because she's a friend of mine. But I'll say you guys can have it as well. It's okay.
Thanks, Zarny.
No, well, I'm not saying
Zarny.
They call me Zarny.
Hey, Michelle.
And who else have we got on here? We've got.
So I guess let's bring that story to Apple a little bit, right?
Yeah. Okay.
And Apple is making a big push in this field of health data.
Yeah.
And collecting it and storing it. And being in the interface between you as a consumer and various health practitioners. Like as the central point, how do you feel given that kind of story? How do you feel about that about Apple having, putting themselves in that position?
But Apple, I don't think Apple is, well, you're signing up to different Apple services.
Mhm.
If you're in those heart services or blood pressure services, for example, whereas this is an app that's saying, okay, yes, you need to go to the doctor. We want to make everything easier for you. Have you got a headache? Have you got a headache because you hit your head when you ran into?
Yeah, absolutely right. It's different, but so the level of data that Apple is collecting from health is in some ways a lot greater than even what they were getting in that app.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
But I still feel more comfortable with allowing Apple to be the intermediate.
Yeah. Yep.
And the collector of that data than I do about any other.
Yeah, because
pretty much any other organization.
Apple are definitely anonymizing the data.
Mm-hmm.
Where
relevant. Yeah.
But I'd like to know, and I haven't read it anywhere yet with regards to this, whether the medical practitioner gets a spotter's fee or not, or did they even know that the booking company was selling the data to the insurance to the
I would say it's the booking company. I wouldn't say so much it's the medical practitioner, because they could lose their license over that.
Yeah,
I would
they were just getting a convenient service, as well as the consumer. They're both getting a convenient service.
Yeah.
It's like Menulog or Eat Now or any of these ones that
I would say
facilitate the. You've got a company that's facilitating that appointment or that.
But okay, so let's assume then that the company is that the service is being paid for by the doctor.
Yeah, it would be.
So therefore, the patient isn't the customer. So therefore, their information shouldn't be sold. They say when you're using Google for free, you're the customer. Your information's out there. You can do whatever you like. You're getting a service not for nothing, because it's your information is what Google want. So they can give you the ads or whatever, which is the same reason these people want to do it, because they want to A, target ads towards you, and B, give your information. But did they tell that to the doctors in the first place?
I don't know. And I would suspect no, because they wouldn't keep that many doctors quiet about such a thing. There would be an outcry somewhere. They've just seen it. They've seen a way of looking like, here we've got this data.
Yep.
And maybe they set the whole thing up in, with that as the goal. Maybe they did, maybe they didn't. But at some point, someone's seen an opportunity to go, here's a way of making a bit of extra money off this information we already have. Or as I said, it could be that they've set up the service fully under the knowledge that this is part of the revenue stream.
Yeah. Maybe that's why, again, not seeing the fine print, but if I'm making an appointment at the doctor, that's between me and the doctor.
Well, what happens there? Yeah. You've voluntarily given your information to that booking service. Okay. So I would be assuming that I'm talking directly to my doctor. Absolutely. But probably told you that you weren't. Probably said, this is to make a booking. And by the way, do you want to tell us this stuff?
Yeah.
Okay.
So what sort of do we know what sort of stuff was leaked to them? Because I'm guessing it's not like a proctologist by any chance. So it's more.
Let's hope the proctologist hasn't linked anything.
It'd be a pain in the ass. This organisation is clearly leaking stuff like accidents, at work or car accidents where people have, or whatever. Where they think they can make some money out of it, So
I think you'd pretty much have to get the app and make it and just see what questions do they tack on to the end.
Yeah.
And and people are very happy to just answer questions for you if you ask them nicely.
It's a bit annoying, but anyway.
Bit annoying, yeah. It's just
So, I got here too, Michael. Was I meant to play story one when we were talking about story one?
That's just a picture.
Oh, it was just a picture. I didn't use the picture. I just want to let you know that now.
What about story 5? What about story 4 picture? Did you use that one? Yes.
I haven't used that yet. Have we done story 4?
Let's go now.
That's the one we're just doing.
Right, here we go. There you go.
That's why when you see the picture.
There we go.
Anyway, so we're up to story 5, which doesn't have a picture.
Doesn't have a picture?
No, well, let's just use story 1's picture just for the fun of it, all right?
All right, we'll just use story 1.
Poor old story 1 didn't get a go, didn't get a viewing. No one took it out. No one cared.
I don't know if this is related to story 5, but it's a great picture of Paul McCartney and James Corden. There we go. All right. So
Apple confirms MacBook Pro embarrassing keyboard problems. Forbes and others report, following months of negative press, horror stories over repair costs, and upsetting the core fan base of MacBook platform, Apple has confirmed that there is a flaw in the new Butterfly keyboards of the MacBook and MacBook Pro machines. Well, I think because they're admitting it, there must be a new keyboard coming on the new Mac.
Absolutely. This is the best news I've heard.
Yeah.
This is seriously fantastic news.
So introduced in 2015, the Butterfly keyboard promised a narrower profile and the ability to design thinner laptop computers around the input mechanism. Unfortunately for Apple, the keyboard showed a far higher failure rate than previous designs, and most consumers reported Apple was charging upwards of $700 out of warranty and not covered by Apple Care. Apple will now offer a free repair to users of certain machines affected by this fault who have had their previous repairs done
by Apple.
Discussed a refund with Apple, and a plain-looking support page updated on Friday confirms the details. Sorry, Apple has determined that a small percentage of keyboards...
A small percentage?
Yeah.
Yep.
Just a small one.
Small.
Of certain MacBook and MacBook Pro models may exhibit one or more of the following behaviors. Letters or characters repeat unexpectedly. Letters or characters do not appear. Keys feel sticky. So an Apple authorized service provider
stop it.
Sorry.
Apple authorized service provider will service eligible MacBook and MacBook Pro keyboards free of charge. The type of service will be determined after the keyboard is examined and may involve the replacement of one or more keys or the whole keyboard, with a link to that.
So this is the keyboard that we've been talking about for the last few weeks. You couldn't, you had to really protect. If you wanted it to work, you needed to guard it with your life.
And even if they fix it now, I'd still be putting a protector on it.
Yeah, I agree with that completely.
and don't eat over it. That's the most one of the most important things.
Yeah.
Only take it into a clean room.
Yeah. Are you ready for this one, Zarn?
I am.
A reminder this week, we are brought to you by Aussie Tech Radio at www.aussietechradio.com. Aussie Tech Heads podcast. That's an award-winning podcast, of course. And we've got Aussie Tech Crypto, one of our sister podcasts. There's also My Tech Opinion and other podcasts from around Australia playing 24/7.
Sister podcast?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, you want to be a brother podcast?
No. I was just wondering where the terminology was going with it. I was like, sister podcast? I'm like, all right.
Well, we're all from the same network.
That's right. Family of podcasts.
Yeah, we're siblings.
That's right. Sibling podcast.
Has Gleno organised the page, the network page yet?
Oh, probably not.
No.
Slack.
He's a PC guy. He's probably spending all his time trying to get it to work.
Yeah, well, that could be it too.
Once he gets his to work, he comes to my house and get my PC to work.
Now, a new Apple leak, which wasn't really from Apple, from what I can understand, reveals massive, cheap iPhone. Forbes reports Ghost Tech is back. Having worked with us on an iPhone design exclusive last month, the successful case maker has revealed reveals massive cheap iPhone. Apple consider removing iPhone X Lightning ports plan for the most exciting new smartphone. Picked up by BGR, Ghost Tech has shown off renders of Apple's so-called budget iPhone 10, which is set to shake up the smartphone world by retaining the premium design of the iPhone 10 while also being remarkably inexpensive. The report explains the renders are based on detailed files Ghost Tech obtained from the factory that builds these smartphones, which makes sense given the detailed schematics the company previously gave me. BGR also states this particular render has been confirmed as accurate by an additional source who is aware of Apple's plans. So what are the takeaways from Ghost Tech's new image? They are both good and bad. The good news is, despite the budget price in the iPhone, which I expect to be simply called iPhone, just like the entry-level iPad and MacBook, will indeed retain all the flagship styling of the iPhone 10 bezel-less design. Face ID, glass back, there will be wireless charging, and leaks strongly indicate fast wide charging will be included free. In other words, you get a free cable.
Yippee.
Right.
The bad news is users will have to compromise with just a single rear camera, which makes sense given this replaces the iPhone 8, and there is no 3D touch, and there will be an LCD rather than an OLED display, and aluminium rather than a steel chassis. So yes, the mini iPhone 10 dream is dead. Disappointing, yes, but users will get over it when they spot the $300 US price cut.
That's what I was about to ask. How much cheaper is it going to be? So
Yeah.
$300 cheaper. And do we have
So
an
about-
image of it yet? Do we know what
Sorry?
it's like? Do we have, so does it look exactly like the iPhone 10? Like, will
Yeah,
it?
effectively, yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. And it's
Yes.
going to be $300
Come on.
cheaper.
Boys.
What's that bring the price down to, though? Exactly.
Of all the stories that needed a photo, this is the one.
I agree with that. This wasn't my department.
And luckily there wasn't, because he wouldn't have put it up anyway. So, seriously though, this is I think this is fantastic. I don't care if it doesn't have an OLED screen or if it's got a stainless steel, aluminium rim, chassis. It sounds pretty cool.
How much are they going for now? So to take $300 off it, how much are we looking at?
That's about still going to be $1,100 Australian.
That's what I thought. So it's still not a cheap phone.
Oh. So 300 off. Yeah, what's the US price?
US prices say $1,000,
So 700.
Still $700.
1100, yeah.
and the dollar's going down even further. Remember,
Yeah.
it's just unbelievable. Anyway,
Yeah.
Yep. So it's not a cheap phone.
Well,
but,
no.
no.
well, how much does an iPhone 8 sell for?
About that.
About $1,000, yeah.
Yeah, so it's the same as an iPhone 8.
Yeah.
And then it's replacing the iPhone 8. So I get where it's coming from.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yep. So
This is story 7.
this is story.
I'm really getting the hang of that counting thing now. Aren't we?
I know.
Here are all of the awards Apple took home at the Cannes Lions 2008 International Festival of Creativity, which has just wrapped up, and all of the award winners have been announced. Apple has historically had a significant presence at the festival, but this year represented one of their strongest showings in recent memories. It's an annual event celebrating the creative and marketing communications field. Awards given during the week-long festival are some of the most sought after in the industry. This year, Apple took home 2 of Cannes' top honours, the Grand Prix. Both Today at Apple, the company's retail program, and the viral Welcome Home HomePod ad were recognised with the Grand Prix. In addition to the Grand Prix, Welcome Home also picked up 2, I don't know how you do this, 2 golden lions, 2 silver lions, and a bronze lion, and was shortlisted for other awards, primarily in film craft. The Spike Jonze directed film was created under guidance of MJZ Los Angeles. Earlier this year, we saw an extensive behind-the-scenes look at the ad's creation. In June, the spot won an Advertising Excellence Award at the AICP show. Now, today at Apple has been a hot topic all week in Cairns. On Wednesday, retail SVP Angela Arendts sat down for an interview during the festival to discuss the program's success. Today at Apple, won the Grand Prix in brand excellence and activation for customer retail in-store experience. A titanium lion later in the week was a feather in its cap. The recognition comes just over a year after rolled out educational sessions to stores worldwide. Several other Apple entries won gold, silver, and bronze lines, and numerous other campaigns were shortlisted. So below, we've listed each entry and its award. So that's in the list. So congratulations to all the winners. I think there's I think one of the other winners, because when I was doing some research, one of the main winners was a Tide ad, Tide washing powder.
Tide Pods.
But the powder that won one of the Golden Awards, or one of the big awards as well, the Grand Prix. I think we might have won the top one. Now, there's also those clips that we were talking about, and lots of others are at youtube.com/user/Apple/videos. Lots and lots of videos there, all Apple ones. So we're up to how-to number 1, Zarn.
Yeah, got it.
We're up there, mate.
Boom.
Signing up for the iOS 12 public beta. To download the iOS 12 public beta later this month, you need to sign up for the iOS beta program, letting you try the new iOS 12 features well ahead of the public release of iOS 12 release date this spring.
Ooh.
And that way you become the family expert.
Yes.
The public iOS beta is typically less buggy than the developer one, which is very stable for the apps that I've been using personally.
Yeah.
If you've already signed up for an iOS 11 beta, you still need to sign in and confirm you want to do the iOS 12 beta. You just go to the Apple Beta Program website, which we've got a link to, click the sign up button, sign in with your Apple ID, read and agree to the iOS 12 beta agreement, and it won't say, I'm positive they're not going to give any of your data to Slater and Gordon, for example.
We can only hope.
What's going wrong?
Oh, no, nothing. I just got a pop-up saying no backups for 465 days, and I had a completed backup yesterday, but that's okay.
It must be on the other one, because you're allowed to have more than one time machine backup now.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, sorry. Yes.
This week in Apple history. This week we have one of our favourite Apple stories about Apple, especially from the early days of the Mac. It was 1985 that Bill Gates, the very same Bill Gates that heads Microsoft, tried to get Apple to license Mac OS to third-party vendors. Not only did he try to get Apple to do so, he actually went out and lined up prospective licensees for Apple, going directly to the head of some of the biggest players in the computing industry at the time. When initially ignored by Apple John Scully, Mr. Gates continued his efforts to help Apple set his plan in motion, trying to keep communications open between prospective parties. So that was 1985.
Okay, so when did Apple licensed hardware, didn't they, at one point?
Yeah.
That was a lot later than that, though, wasn't it?
1997. So that's 12 years
12 years later, yeah.
So a bit before 1997, might have been 95, but because there's another little story coming up.
Okay.
1993, electronics manufacturer Sharp gets the Golden Master, the final, hopefully bug-free version of a product under development, the Newton message pad software, allowing the company to ramp up production. Whereas Apple had widely been criticised for not licensing the Macintosh, Apple decided to follow a different path for its PDA, and Sharp was the first licensee. Sharp helped engineer and manufacture the message pad and who would eventually make a slightly modified version, the Sharp Expert Pad. Well, I had a message pad. They were all right. I don't understand why we got rid of them so quick, but anyway.
No one was buying them, I guess.
When was this? What year was that?
93.
Yeah.
Message pad.
Yeah.
What did they look like?
I'd show you one, but mine got stolen.
Oh, damn.
From when my shop got robbed. But yeah, just it was a little bit bigger than my iPhone 10, and you could handwrite on it. And
okay, yeah, cool.
Stuff. And, yeah, do all of that sort of stuff. Put your diary in, that sort of thing.
Yeah, I don't know why someone would steal that. They wouldn't have had any idea what that even was. Because I know I don't know what it is.
So in 1997, Power Computing, the first legal Macintosh clone, here we go for you, Garth.
Oh, yeah, yep.
Files an S1 with the SEC, the first step towards an initial public offering. On the strength of churning out more powerful computers than Apple, the firm had become the fastest growing PC company of the 90s, with a 10% of the Mac market. There you go. So they were trying to capitalize on that. In an unrelated event, someone sold 1.5 million shares of Apple for roughly, you ready? $15 a piece. 15.
Oh, man.
And that was before the split.
Yeah.
So they've sort of, each one of those $15 shares was turned into 7 of our current shares.
Yeah. And how much are they going for at the moment?
I have no idea.
I can't remember myself.
Wouldn't it be nice to have got hold of those?
Many speculated that Steve Jobs, then an Apple advisor, had dumped the shares he received when Apple bought Next the previous year. After initially refusing to comment, Jobs finally admitted 2 months later that he had pretty much given up hope that Apple board was going to do anything, and then had divested his stock. Now, in 2003, Apple unleashes a fury of new products at the annual Worldwide Developers Conference, right? Including a dual 2.0 gigahertz Power Mac G5, the world's first 64-bit desktop, and arguably the fastest PC. We also got iSight, an elegant Firewire webcam. We got iChat AV, a simple instant messaging and video conferencing app, and Safari One, a new browser available for Mac OS X. There you
2003.
go. Yes.
Okay. And we still call them iSight cameras on the Macs now.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they've got better. So I'm just trying to look up what the Apple share price is.
It's around the grand though, isn't
Yeah,
it?
Apple share price.
To buy one share.
I should be $184.92 US.
Oh, is that all?
So multiply that by 7, and that's how much it's gone up. So it's gone from $15 to $1,200.
Wow.
How's that?
I would have loved to have taken those. Thank you very much. Yep.
Even just a few of them.
I know. I'd be happy with 3.
Yeah. There's probably some little company with share price of $1.27 that one day, if only you knew.
That's right. So we've got the GarageBand update.
Yes.
So this week, GarageBand did an update. It's got 2 new drummers, play roots and jazz influenced brush styles, free downloadable artist lessons. These you used to have to pay for, where you show you how to play hit songs on piano and guitar, taught by the artist who made them famous. They're great just to sit and listen to.
Yeah,
they're really good. 1,000 new electronic and urban loops covering reggaeton, future bass, and chill rap.
Future bass, man. Come on.
400 animal machine and voice sound effects. Play and record using traditional instruments from China and Japan.
Oh, that's cool.
with Zarn, Guzheng, or Koto and Taiko drums. Add classic songs to your song with 5 vintage Mellotron patches.
Koto drums are those you see they're like round and you slap them in different spots and they make a different sound.
Wouldn't have a clue.
I've seen.
We'll go with that. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I've seen street performers use them. I could be wrong, but I think that's what they are.
Updates compatibility with GarageBand for iOS and includes a couple of stability improvements and bug fixes. But you can get these sorts of sounds. So we've got the first one. I don't know. Hang on. Sorry, team. Play through the speaker.
Demo fail.
I don't know how to break this, Michael, but that's not music.
No, that's Michael's music, all right? It's music to Michael's ears.
That's what I think about that.
That sounded like a head shaver, that one.
I think Kellyanne's calling you, Zarn.
I didn't laugh at that, by the way.
and this is the one for after the line at the end of the show for you, Zarn.
Yep.
You should just keep that one handy for a couple of days.
Yeah.
So there's just a couple that were there straight away today.
Excellent.
So, anyone got anything else? Please.
I think we've scared these poor people who are watching for long enough.
We've been on for almost an hour now. It's one of the funnest shows I've ever done.
Sorry. No, it really wasn't. It just felt like it. Okay?
But don't forget, there's show notes in your links each week. It's just a link to your show notes that you can click on. Spotify, just search Aussie Max Zone. You can add Apple News. You just look for Aussie Max Zone again. Now, just before I thank our sponsors and stuff, Garth, with Google,
yes,
you should be able to say, please play Aussie Max Zone, and it should just do it. I understand.
Shouldn't I?
Yeah.
If it knew how to find his Wi-Fi, it probably would.
I'll have to hop under the desk and get my Wi-Fi back. I unplugged the Wi-Fi.
Yeah, if you can test that, because I think I got that's working for all our programs, and I have submitted an Alexa. Yeah, you can try it. Yeah,
give it a go.
Request. Yeah.
Yeah, so I've done the Alexa one. I've submitted that.
Turn the Wi-Fi on.
Is Siri doing it?
Not yet. Oh, yeah, Siri will do podcasts. I'm not sure. I haven't tried her to do that yet.
Give me a go. Hang on a second. Hey Siri, play Aussie Max Zone podcast.
Here's the podcast Aussie Max Zone.
There you go. Got it.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's excellent. But yeah, I believe Google can do it. Garth's still hiding under the desk. And yeah, I have submitted an Alexa.
By the way, the mic is on mute. The mic's.
I'm over here. Mike's over here.
Go to the latest Pornhub.
She's trying to get connected to Wi-Fi now.
Yeah. But yeah, so.
Hey, Google.
Hang on while I get connected to Wi-Fi.
No.
No. Anyway, if you can try that out for me, let me know.
And this is what I say an apple a day keeps the androids away, by the way.
Now, thank you to our sponsors this week being athwebhosting.com.au, AussieTechRadio.com. Thank you very much, Garth.
Yeah, good to see you, mate.
You make it worth coming here.
No, my pleasure.
It only played up when you
up now.
plugged
As soon as I put that Wi-Fi back on, the internet's gone.
Yeah. Shows you how much Google are listening to you, mate. Thank you very much, Zarn.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Garth. Thank you, sponsors. Thank you, everyone that watched tonight and said hello to us.
Yep.
And remember, apple a day, kiss your androids away.
Good night.
Good night.
Hey, Google. Hey, Google. Play Aussie. She's thinking. Yeah, she sucks.
Playing Mac's own VS Machine Up Rock Battle on YouTube.
Or not. Let's try that one more time. Hey, Google. Play Mac Zone podcast. Let's try the podcast bit.
Sure. Here's the latest episode of Aussie Mac Zone. Aussie Mac Zone, episode 142, the 18th of
Yes.
2018.
There
There
you
you
go.
Well done, Garth.
Yeah.